journalism and multimedia terrain in Uganda and elsewhere in view of the rapid technological developments. I will also speak to the issue of the skills and knowledge that are required of current and future journalists, and if time permits, I will also speak to the training curriculum, the issues and developments within the discipline of journalism and communication, but specifically journalism and multimedia that institutions like Makerere should pay attention to. Now, I think all of us, live journalism one way or the other. All live, with the media one way or the other. So I would like to start by very briefly describing what I see as the media landscape today, which I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with. So for one, we know that technology is constantly evolving, and handheld devices such as smartphones are now the most dynamic tools for receiving, imparting, and creating information. We know that newspapers' circulation has either stagnated or tanked by and large, although they are also outliers in terms of newspapers that have been able to raise their circulation. So it's not really all that bad as it might appear sometimes. We also know that television has grown and is taking over as a news medium. The premise of convergence, I think newsrooms talk a lot about convergence, or what we call digital first. But we know that that journey is a little bit sometimes inconsistent. It is not as efficient as we want it to be, and especially on the side, on the payment side. And remember, trying, to pay payments and get on the apps, do visual and daily monitor, and we're really extremely clunky. But lately, I think, those platforms have become a lot better actually. Even in terms of accessing, the hard copies mobile. We know that journalists today are active on social media, but this has also raised a whole new set of questions. For instance, one of the questions is break news fast. Are they any standard they should hold themselves to, or is it all about amassing and exciting followers? We know that radio has the widest reach in Uganda, but radio remains largely an entertainment medium. It reminds me of the phenomenon that Dr. Monica Chibeta described as the survival of the entertainingest. So that is how Monica Chibeta described it, the survival of the entertainingest, talking about the opening up of the airwaves and so on and so forth. We know that online news platforms have increased people's access to and flow of information, but they also raise a lot of questions about ethical practice. We know that media and relationship between media and business and media and politics are quite complex today. And finally, we're also aware that media viability is a serious concern. In Uganda, most radio stations outside the major markets, the major metropolitan markets around Kampala don't make that much money as businesses. So, in light of the picture I have described or painted, I think it's very important not to treat journalism like a fetish, and I will explain a little bit. Because whereas technological and social changes have turned journalism on its head, especially as practiced through the main media, and the fact that we know that the widespread and not to treat journalism as a fetish is that technology we know has changed the game. And we know that journalism is no longer practiced as it used to be in the mainstream media. But we know that digital media are not vessels for journalism, the way we know it. And they are not vessels for journalism the way it has been practiced for the last 150 years. Twitter, for instance, is the place where the elite go on the news, right? That is not journalism, in my view. Sharing an opinion, whether it's by a journalist or whatever, is not really journalism. Robert Murdoch, the Australian American media mogul, said that the invention of the World Wide Web, with the invention of the World Wide Web, everyone in an internet connection has now become a global town crier. TikTok, for example, became popular when suburban white kids in the United States appropriated dance moves of black children in the US. So they packaged these moves into 15-minute video clips, and then they started sharing them on TikTok. Because as we know, TikTok is a Chinese platform. And we didn't know much about it until, these white kids in the US watching, their black kids doing these dance moves, and then they begin capturing them and repackaging them for TikTok. TikTok is, short video clips. And as we know today, as they said, the rest is history with regard to TikTok. And so we can go on and on about all these social media platforms. WhatsApp and Facebook went from being channels for relatives and friends to share personal news. And university, one, I think that having a solid theoretical foundation is very important. You really can't run away from conceptual grounding. If you come to a university and you have a problem with theory, I really suggest that you probably find something else to do. Because in universities, you deal with concepts, you deal with theory. So this whole story that stuff is too theoretical, I'm sorry. You're in the wrong place. So, because having that solid theoretical, and it doesn't mean that theory must be boring. Theory can be fun. So, but the ability to detect, to research, to describe, analyze, to interpret, and communicate phenomena of interest, and especially to communicate phenomena of interest. In my work in consulting and communication, I have found it very, very important. Being able to communicate science, communicate technical issues. Gloria will tell you, I used to run a program on extractive journalism, media people, and we put a lot of emphasis in telling and breaking all that stuff down, the geology into stuff that people could actually understand, and eventually, I think we took that seriously. The second area that I think the program should also pay attention to, and I believe a lot of these things because I participated in one of the stakeholder consultations. Strong grounding in research is also important. Being equipped with the tools to observe phenomena, to ask important questions, to systematically gather information, and to use theory to analyze and record what you have discovered. I think also that hands-on training in multimedia skills and tools is important. As the name of the program suggests. The age of convergence is driven by technological and digital revolution, and journalists are required to be competent in different media platforms. Hands-on training is very important because people become comfortable with multimedia creation, production, and dissemination of content. Only